Hello, hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome back to Entertainment Buzz. I'm your host, Jenny Rosario de Castellano, and we have a great show for you this afternoon. Today, we're going to be listening to a voice that has been heard around the world. He is a professional voiceover actor, and he can also be found in film and television. But before I introduce him, I want to thank our sponsor of today's show, which is the Tea Room Experience. They're located in downtown Orlando. You can make reservations over the weekend to have a wonderful tea room experience, or you can order for takeout. Thank you to the Tea Room Experience for being our sponsor today. And now let's welcome this voice heard around the world. Wait till you hear it. He's got an amazing voice, Dan Wachs. Hello, Dan.
How you doing, Jenny?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Thank you for the compliment about my amazing voice. This is my real voice. And then I try to do this when I'm doing voiceover. So there's a difference.
Wow. I know. I've heard your voice in so many different characters. It's so great. I love it.
Thanks.
What do they call it? They call it the golden throat.
Golden throat, old-time announcer, although the business of voiceover is kind of changing away from that. And if you look at TV, if there's still people that look at like network TV with commercials, and you actually look at commercials, you'll hear some of the voices that are doing voiceovers. Vocal quality wise, they're not that great, but the expression, the interpretation, the message, they really know how to get it through. But there's still room for some of the old announcer guys.
You know, it's funny you say that because I was watching, and sorry if some people don't like me saying this, but I was watching the RNC last night, and they had this amazing opera singer. I don't know if you had a chance to watch him, but his voice was so powerful, right? Like that of an opera singer. And then when he spoke in his natural voice to the audience, I couldn't believe it was the same person. It was
interesting.
Yeah, it was not his voice. His normal voice did not match his singing voice at all. It was pretty shocking.
My voice will go away by the end of this session here. I don't have a voice that has the strength to talk for an hour or two. So It may change by the end, but with voiceover nowadays, you record at home, so you can record when you want to most of the time.
Right. Why is that? I noticed that my voice does that too. Like I would be a terrible telemarketer because I couldn't do that for 8 hours straight.
You would be a wonderful telemarketer, but maybe not in the 7th and 8th hour. You may be awful.
Right.
I sounded like Philly. You may be awful. I'm from Philly.
You're from Philly. I'm from New York. We have the awe.
Northeast.
The droll. Nice. So Dan, tell us about your amazing career. Tell us about what you do and how you became a voiceover actor. It's such an interesting career.
I got into voice acting by accident, although it doesn't sound that way because I was a radio broadcaster for 32 years. And I did everything you could do at a radio station. I was everything from the overnight DJ at a station whose signal was so weak that when you walk out of the radio station late at night and you get out of the driveway, you can hardly hear it. So little jobs like that in the suburbs to owning and operating radio stations. I did it for 32 years. And eventually in 2000, I left radio. And honest to God, I could do 10 shows on the demise of the radio business in the country. It's kind of sad. But I left radio in 2000 and I did some different kinds of stuff that my wife would go, "What are you doing?" Like I started the highly creative career of reselling manufactured toner cartridges. And
really?
In radio, oh God, in radio.
And that was on, how did you do that? Was that on radio?
No, nothing to do with anything creative. It was just selling toner. And I used to, in radio, I would go to the NAB conventions and they were glamorous. You know, there were TV stars and there were big displays and it was big and colorful and Vegas and flashy and all kinds of entertainment stuff. Then I went to my first toner convention and it was metal cabinets and cardboard boxes.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, God. My wife said, get into a creative field.
Yes.
You need to be creative. So to finish answering your question, I went into another field that you wouldn't probably classify as creative. Went into telecom, but this tiny little telecom company my wife and I started, we needed a website. So I found a guy in Tampa who designed websites. And it turns out he's an old radio dog just like me.
Wow.
His name is Don Capone. And he's in voiceover. So now I'm talking to this old radio dog like me, and I used to be on the radio many decades ago, and he does voiceover. So he's the guy. His name is Don Capone in Tampa. He became my mentor. There he is.
Oh, there he is.
That's him in his home studio. And we just talked a couple nights ago. He kind of works all night and
what a character.
And not a vampire, but he has the powers of a vampire. And he is my mentor. So he taught me how to get in the radio business. And he said, give it a try. And I said, well, I never thought of it, not radio business, voiceover, because of the fact that my voice gets tired. But I tried it, and that was 10 years later. And that's kind of the quick bird's
eye. So that was kind of a full circle that you made there.
Yeah. And that's true. I was just talking to a former DJ, a guy named Clint who does the morning show at Mix 105 here in Orlando. And we were talking about that with voiceover, it's like full circle. In 1968, I got my first job at that tiny little radio station. And I was sitting in front of a microphone. You can see the microphone here, I think. And, gear and stuff like that. And now here I am, retired for some period of time. And I'm sitting here in front of like what is essentially a little mini radio studio.
You know what?
Yeah.
I love your studio. I've had the opportunity of visiting your studio, and you're right. Look at that. It does look like a radio station. It's such a cool looking office.
Yeah. And I'll tell you a secret. The gear behind me, which looks pretty sophisticated, is all broken junk.
Oh,
I bought off a dealer. So when I Skype with the client, it looks like I'm in a studio.
Oh, great idea. It looks amazing.
If I turn this webcam around, you'd see it's a room. It's just
right.
a room. And I do have some acoustic material. I have stuff like soft material, which you see in back of me, and that kind of deadens the sound and makes so you don't get reverberation. But it's just a room that's set up to do this. So yeah, so that's how I got into radio through Don. Even though I was acting at the time, I hadn't thought about. I keep saying radio. I got into voiceover with Don.
Right,
and
that's so great.
Just happened.
So how did that feel going from radio to voiceover? Obviously, it was less of a strain on your voice. You didn't have that live audience feedback. Did that feel significantly different to you? Did you miss that?
There's nothing similar with these gigs at all. In radio, you don't have live audience feedback unless you're doing the morning show and you're taking calls.
Oh, got it.
There's two kinds of radio. There's the morning show where you can actually project your personality. And then there's everything else where it's mostly music, and a DJ or radio host may do the time, temperature, a quick comment about what happened to, some singer, what happened to Billie Eilish today or whatever. And it's very automated. And nowadays, a radio announcer will pre-record the show for many different radio stations. So you walk in the station and there's an empty booth most of the day.
Wow, I never thought about that for radio. That's so interesting. I used to try on those morning radio talk shows. I used to always try to call the number when they would give the number and say, call in and give us your feedback. Tell us what you think. And I would never get through. So I got really frustrated. And then one day I got a voicemail. So I thought this was interesting. So I left a voicemail, and then I was actually driving to school. I was in college, and then I arrived at school. And everybody was coming up to me saying, Jenny, I totally agree with what you said on the radio this morning.
Oh, you left a message.
I left a message, and they played my message on their show. But I had already parked the car and turned it off because I never got a human to answer the phone. So, I figured, oh, well, I'll leave a message. And they actually played my voicemail on the show. And I had no idea until everybody in school came up to me and they said, right on, I agree with you. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, but the voiceover, to answer your question, the voiceover experience is completely different from radio, because in voiceover, you're sitting in front of a microphone 99.5% of the time, especially in Orlando, Central Florida. Unless you're in Los Angeles or New York, you're not going to be in someone's studio. Right. You're going to be at home alone, reading a script. And if you have talent, you're reading it in a way that the listener doesn't know you're reading. It sounds like you're talking to that person. So no, there's no audience feedback, and you get a chance to do it over and over again. So unlike live theater, let's say, or live television, you don't care about the mistakes because you can edit and correct the mistakes. It's just a total different ball of wax. There's nothing similar to radio and voiceover except microphone. sometimes.
Well, look, you mentioned the office or studio from home, and here is my studio at home. You can only see a portion of it. It
Nice.
looks like a phone booth, actually. So I have 3 walls with the soundproof padding, and you can see my headphones back there, and my microphone is closed up in the corner. And then this is a curtain that slides shut. I have a double pane. It's double-sided, and it's like those blackout curtains, so they're really thick, and it gives me really good sounds in there, thanks to your advice, Dan.
Thank you. Do you do film auditions? Do you tape there too? Is that
I
possible?
do tape from home. I haven't had films lately, but you know, I would love to do some character voices. And it's pretty simple to do from home, like you said. And we're going to talk more about that later because the audience can get help from Dan and build their own studio at home and start a career as well. So we're going to be right back. We're going to take a quick commercial break and we're going to hear some more from Dan Wachs.
At Duke Energy, we deliver electricity and so much more, like free home energy assessments, rebates for energy-saving improvements, payment options to help you better manage your budget, and even bill credits for helping the community use less energy. So no matter what you're doing, we can help you make better energy choices every day. It's just another way we bring power to your life. How much can you save?
Okay, we're back with Dan Wachs. So Dan, you're also an actor. So you're not just a voiceover. I know you primarily do voiceover, but we can also see you in film and television. Is that right?
Here and there. I've had some I've had some modest success, and there are a lot of actors that are much more prolific in the work than I. So I've been on a national TV show. I was a couple of years ago in a movie with name actors in a scene that was very, very exciting. I've been on some smaller networks like National Geo, Discovery Channel. You know, it's not free.
Smaller networks.
What's been really rewarding has been working with local film production companies, like the film that you and I worked on together a number of years ago, The Breaking Point.
The Breaking Point, yes.
And that's a chance where you can get a bigger role because, you know, we local actors, we strive to get a gig in a national show, and more than likely it's going to be 5 lines and under. It's going to be a really small role,
right?
Something that's kind of expository, just to move the story along, and you'll never remember that person unless it's you and you go, "Oh my God, I'm on TV!"
Right.
But you can be in acting class and have a wonderful scene, and there may be 10 or 16 people in the class, and someone is moved by that scene. To me, that's a more rewarding experience.
Right. So it's a different experience too. It's a much more intimate set working on an independent film than the larger, you know, blockbuster films.
Yeah, and I believe you because I've never really worked in a larger blockbuster film. I've worked on even the nationally released film I did was kind of a smaller project, but I find that I've been on professional sets. I did a couple gigs as an extra just to see what that was all about.
Right.
The vibe of a highly professional production. And I found that a really highly professional college production here in Orlando, or maybe up in Tallahassee at FSU, those productions compare, to my experience, potentially very, very similar to doing a big time show.
Yes, I agree.
The same elements. It's you, a camera, director, lighting. It's just that the pros tend to do a better job because they're the best of the best. They got that gig.
Right.
But
I actually worked on an independent film at UCF back in January. And I started this industry in film production. So I started out as a PA and kind of worked up the ladder, but I worked on a lot of big films, especially in Miami. So I got to be on those blockbuster sets quite a bit. But this set that I worked on with UCF back in January, I have to say that school has a great program. I went to Valencia. So let me backtrack. Valencia has an amazing program too. And I am a graduate and I've had a successful career. But this particular film I worked on as an actor, I was an ethereal being. It was such a cool part. But their film crew was so professional. Nice. And so I put in a good a good word with their instructors, because they ran a tight ship. It was really like working on a professional film set. They had every role covered, you know, in production. The sets were amazing. Their equipment was great. They had a green room. They had hair, makeup, wardrobe. I mean, they were so professional. So like you said, they can be great opportunities for actors to get better parts in films and build a reel, get that experience.
Yeah, you know, there's a bridge between film acting and voice acting because, you know, people say voiceover, but me and my teaching partner, Lauren O'Quinn, say voice acting.
Okay.
Because a lot of it is about acting.
You're right.
So if I talk to somebody who's never been in any kind of entertainment business and they want to get and become a voice actor, a lot of times I'm going to recommend that they take acting classes, film and TV acting classes, theater acting classes. Maybe film and TV is a little more appropriate than theater, because in film and TV is a little more of an intimate, up close medium, where theater is big and you're projecting. But I tell a lot of people, get acting classes, because when you interpret a script and, you know, you may have a commercial, a voiceover commercial running on the #1 station in Orlando. And technically, and I've asked my class, how many people are going to hear that? And they might go 50,000. And I whittle it down to the #1, because when you're, even if I'm on mic and I'm recording something, I'm talking to one person. And if that one person hears me and gets the connection that it's not just an announcer at a radio station, it's someone talking to me, that's the way you get to move the message and potentially sell the product. And then, of course, you multiply that by the number of different people you make a connection with. But you have to kind of imagine it as a one-on-one thing. And when you're in acting, you're working with a scene partner trying to make a connection. You're looking in the eye and you're just picking up what they're giving you and you're responding to it. And that very much relates to the voiceover business. Right.
It's definitely a very organic experience.
Yes.
So what kind of, I know you hear this sometimes in the supermarket. What kind of commercials can we hear you in, or products can we hear your voice?
Yeah. So like I go to the supermarket and I go to Publix, I'm checking out and I'm wearing my voiceover hat, you know.
Oh, I like that.
Say, are you in voiceover? And I go, yes, I am. Yes, I am. Oh, what can I hear you in? It's like, bag my food, buddy.
Right. Go to my website.
The stuff that I'm on is like everywhere. So if the Orlando Science Center were open and they were showing an IMAX theater, and you have your 3D glasses and you hear, the movie will begin in 3 minutes. It's time to put on your 3D glasses. Or if you're in Texas, my commercials are running all over Texas, Oklahoma, the Southwest, because I'm broadcasting the Texas Rangers baseball network. If you're in Western New York, for 8 years, the voice of the Buffalo Bills. I'm in a commercial in New York. I'm on websites all over the place. So
everywhere.
Kind of, I mean, when I say all over the place, I mean all over the world. So
that's amazing.
That's the thing about this crazy business, because we're working on the internet. You are not limited. So if you're an actor going back to film, you have an audition for a big 5-word gig. You have to drive to Atlanta. Now, that's like what, 440 miles from Orlando? And you got to drive back. And
they call that the world being flat.
The world being flat. And you'll make $952 or whatever the one-day SAG rate is, and that's it. Or you're in voiceover, and my bedroom is 11 feet from where I'm sitting right now, including walking in. And you wake up one morning and you have a 15-minute session, and your hair, you're ugly. You're looking, I showered for this.
You have a face for radio.
This is visual, and we're all made up. I look good, I mean, I hope I look good, but
you do.
in reality, I'll come in here and in 15 minutes, looking like death warmed over, make $500 or something.
Right.
I didn't have to drive 7.5 hours twice and spend that money. Right. I just walked into a room and I talked to someone, because in voiceover, you can either record completely on your own where there's no input at all. So you're kind of self-directing, or you can be in session where via telephone, Skype, Zoom, and some other methods, you can be in session with the director. And those sessions are great because you get to know what they want.
Exactly.
Except when they give you really bad directions and you just have no idea what the hell they're talking about.
Oh, I've had that. Or you have 3 different people directing you in 3 different directions.
Group direction.
That happened to me on a project. It was actually a video. So the director wanted me to speak in my normal voice, and then the producer wanted me to speak with a more sultry voice. And they kept going back and forth. And I said, well, I can't go back and forth in the video. I said, how about we shoot it both ways? And then you guys can decide at the end, because it was so confusing. I said, my
you
voice
came up with the intelligent solution,
Right, exactly. Yeah. So we have a video clip here that we're going to share so they can get a taste of what you do.
For those of you who can hear a masterpiece in the making, where others just hear noise. For those of you that follow the beat of your heart and choose to trust the voice within.
Shots fired, I repeat that.
But I knew they were definitely trying to take our lives that night.
It's a night detectives Joe Bell and Orlando Morrison will never forget. An ambush without warning, bullets flying everywhere. Don't let anything mess with your Miller time. Triple hops brewed Miller Lite. It's Miller time. Hello, Impossible. The all-new Elantra.
Wow, those are some big names, Dan.
Well, I'll tell you an inside story. To get a nationally released beer commercial like Miller is a big, big deal.
Sure.
Except this nation was Guam. So shh, don't tell anybody that, because
that shrunk the pool.
I promote that I've done Miller beer. You just don't know it was in a country the size of Longwood.
Wow, that's so interesting.
But I was happy to do it. It was fun. There's
such a big range in there too. That was pretty cool. I love hearing how your voice changed from commercial to commercial. That's definitely a gift.
Yeah, it's well, here's the thing. I don't use different voices. I become different characters, but I don't use vastly different voices. So if I did that thing for the music piece, which actually is sponsored by Spotify, I'm close to the mic. I'm just talking very intently. It's almost like an anthem or a manifesto. I'm making a point, but I'm making it quietly. But it's still my voice. It's just a lower register of my voice.
Right.
And the Miller beer is just me going, Miller time. So a lot of the animations, the movies, the Disney Pixar things, and you see a character and it's Ellen DeGeneres, but it's just her voice, or it's Eddie Murphy's voice, or it's someone's voice, and they don't change their voice and do things. Although there are character actors and that's what they call them, character voice actors. They can change their voice to do something different, like the character Gollum in Tower Ring. What's the name of the movie? The Rings.
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings. Thank you. I know my movies. That's an example of a great character.
Yeah, that's got to be hard to sustain too throughout the whole project.
It's difficult. And some projects, like audiobooks, you create multiple characters, but you don't totally change your voice. So if I were doing an audiobook voiceover project, and I had a quote, a female line, and it could sound like she said, "Why did you do this to me?" So you change your voice a little bit, you give it a little bit character, but I'm not going to sound like a woman. Right. Or if I change my voice because there's a cop, Lieutenant Jones turned around and said, "Where were you that night?" So you do a subtle change in audiobooks, but then 180 pages later, that character comes back and you have to know what they sound like.
Exactly.
I don't do audiobooks, so that's one of the reasons why.
Oh, got it. That makes sense.
Too long.
So Dan, this is a big question. And I've heard this for all kinds of acting. How do you explain to someone that this can be a real career for them? Because some people don't think they can do it, or they think, or they don't think about it, or they think, oh, that's Hollywood, or that's for someone else, Well, I've met people like at the supermarket. I've met people that have like James Earl Jones voices
I know.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, I just discovered a huge potential talent and try to get them signed up. And they're just like, oh, I can't do that. That's not for normal people.
I get so many people who approach me and they've been told their whole life what a great voice they have. And it might be a super, super big, deep, big voice. I'll tell you what, it's inhibiting. It inhibits the amount of style, different, interpretations they can do. And they could get locked into one thing, and it has nothing to do with the interpretation. If you have a piano, you can have the most beautiful Bosendorfer grand piano, and it creates marvelous music, but person A plays it and person B plays it, and one of those is great and the other is not worth listening to.
Right.
So your vocal cords are your instrument, but your mind and your heart are what brings it to life. So to answer your question, what would I say to someone? I would say I have good news for you and I have bad news for you. But I have good news for you after that. And the good news is there's no barrier to entry to getting into voiceover. You get a microphone, you plug it into your computer, you get a pair of headsets so you can listen to yourself. And because of the internet, you can go and audition all day long with legitimate clients. We teach people how to do that in our seminar. And you can make money. Now, Jenny, you know more than most people. It's the entertainment business. So you're going to get a lot more no's than yes.
Right.
Winners lose more than losers lose.
Right.
Winners keep trying. So the good news is there's no barrier to entry.
Okay, you hear that, everybody? That means it is possible.
The bad news? Brace yourself. The bad news is there's no barrier to entry.
Right.
So, since there's no barrier to entry and anyone can do it, a lot of people are doing it, especially now during this pandemic, this virus. So I have one other piece of good news. We teach people how to audition against between 10 and 100 people. So it doesn't matter if there are 10 million voice actors out there competing. If you're auditioning for a specific project, and there's only 30 other people auditioning, go find that in a major film release. That ain't happening.
Exactly.
So really, there really is no barrier, not only to entry, but there's no barrier to get yourself on equal footing with a small amount of competitors. In other words, you have a chance to get a gig. And then it's the process of building a home studio and learning how to make it sound good and being able to edit stuff and being able to communicate the message and build a way to make a difference where you stand out from all the other people doing the auditions because you found some cherry in the script. And oh my gosh, so much of this is about interpreting the script and realizing the opportunities in that script. And that's like acting. No, that is acting, right?
Sure.
So we have people who have studied with us, people that have studied with me, my teaching partner, Lauren, and myself. And a good number of them have gone on to become working voice actors. Like my first actor I ever worked with, my God, she had all this talent and she was brand new to the business. So I kind of mentored her the way my buddy Don Capone mentored me. And at that time, she had a lavalier mic, and, but she had all this talent. And now I want to tell you, her name is Victoria Swilley. She's a dear, dear friend of mine. She's my first student ever. She has far surpassed me in the number of projects she does. And I do maybe 150 billing projects a year, and she must do 300-400.
Oh my goodness. You're not kidding.
She moved to Atlanta to become an actor, but the voiceover for her took over acting just like it did with me.
That's amazing.
She was a great actor. So she's so good and so talented. I have an example of a commercial she did.
We do. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to get to hear Victoria's voice. Awesome. I've seen her in action, and she's just amazing too. So she had a very good mentor. We'll be right back, and we're going to listen to Victoria when we come back after this brief message.
All this time we fought side by side. We trained together. we lost together. And now, you're the only one standing in my way. It's been a while, old friend.
Woo, I can't wait for that movie to come out. It looks good.
Cool.
So we were talking with Dan, and he just mentioned a student named Victoria that he took under his wing, and she, I mean, I hate to say that she surpassed you, but you said 150 is what you're doing, and she's up to a 400 a year.
I imagine. I mean, she's prolific. She works every day. She has project on project on project. Why? Because she works very hard, and she has what people want. She's got it.
Right. Well, let's take a listen. We have a demo reel of hers here.
Whoa, did you see that?
As the moon rises, so do the possibilities.
That was very cool.
That's a job she did, obviously, for Dos Equis. She came down to Orlando from Atlanta to record in my studio, just like you did for Coca-Cola.
Okay.
She's done stuff for all these big-time clients, and I'm very proud of her. And the thing is, in voiceover, you can do as little or as much of it as you care to. So some people, like when she started, she was doing, 10, 20 auditions a day. I retired in 2000. I'm good with doing 3 or 4 or 5 auditions in a day.
Right.
And I'm good with that. And if once in a while when things get really, really busy for me and I have 2 or 3 projects to do in a day, I go, Carolyn, my wife, it's like working.
Wow.
So, you can
that must be nice.
Well, it's rewarding and affirming, but more and more the teaching part of it is kind of, it's very meaningful for me. So when someone like Victoria or Dana Miller, Christina Hernandez, or there's so many people that have gone through our training that are getting professional gigs and taking it as far as they like. But for a lot of them, it's a line extension. And I want to complain about something, Jennifer. I want to complain about people talking about side hustles.
Oh,
during the corona side hustle. That's not distinguished. It denigrates my business of voice acting, but we call it line extension.
Line extension.
Yeah, you can do as little or as much of it as you want. And if it's, I never intended to have 3 projects in a week. When it took me months to get my first gig. And when I did, I found out about it going out for beers and cocktails with my fellow ArtSake students and back in the day. And it was the greatest feeling in the world to get a message you received a deposit for your voiceover project. It's like, whoa, my first one.
Yes.
I had no idea where it was going to go. I didn't have a plan to become a full-time professional voice actor, even though I kind of treated full-time, part-time. It just kind of happened. And when it happened, I got hungry. When gigs started coming in and that started happening, that was cool. And to have a client for like 8 football seasons.
Wow.
I'm sitting here, I'm reheating my coffee for the 19th time at the microwave, and the phone rings, and the guy goes, well, hi, I'm Jeff Matthews. I'm the broadcast director of the Buffalo Bills. And we just listened to 200 demo reels. And it's down to you and one other person. Are you interested in working for the Buffalo?
Oh, that's a dream call.
I would not let him off the phone to hire that other person.
Great. Good for you.
I didn't let him off the phone. I got the gig right then. That was 8 seasons ago.
8 seasons.
So I get to know him. I get to know some of his associates. I get to be part of an amazing team and organization. There's value to that.
Absolutely.
More than the money and more than the exposure. But it's cool, if I go to a football game and they're doing a game wrap on the Jumbotron and it's me.
And it's you, right? Oh, that's so cool.
Or
my husband heard one of them and he was just blown away. He's like, "Oh my goodness, I didn't know that was Dan Wachs."
no, that's right. You know, my wife and I do a lot of binging, always have, even before the pandemic. And we're binging on some show one day. I don't know what it was. And it was one of those that was on a network. So we had to fast forward through the commercials and we didn't. And all of a sudden there's a national commercial for Auto Trader on some national TV show. And I realized, oh yeah, that's my student, Kara. And she recorded that here.
Oh, that's so great.
Carrie got that gig. I know she got the gig. Now I'm seeing it. It's like seeing your friends in a major motion picture.
Right. I love it. I always try to pull the phone out as quick as I can and try to like grab a snapshot or a video clip of it and send it to them because it's so hard to find your own material sometimes. So it's a lot of fun. Yeah. And I have people send me stuff too that I haven't seen. And I'll have people, you know, in Seattle sending me video footage of a commercial or whatever they've seen me in, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, you get a charge out of it. It's fun.
Yeah. So Dan, we only gave them a sneak peek earlier of some of your work, but we do have another clip that we want to share.
I don't like to talk about my owner behind her back, but I was hoping you could help me out. My owner is great, but there are so many things competing for her attention that she can be a little distracted when it comes to my healthcare. I make subtle reminders, but she's got an attention span worse than Joe's, which is pretty bad considering Joe is a goldfish. Seriously, look it up. Whether you're just looking for some cuddle time with your partner, or you're after the big one, heat or bodysuit, you stay warm or your money back, TwinSpires.com is the official betting partner of the Kentucky Derby. Place legal bets wherever you are with the TwinSpires.com app. Download the app today.
15-10.
Our hearts beat as one. It's in all of us, in our bones and in our blood.
That will do it.
In our family, Bills run deep.
There we go. Some Buffalo Bills action. Awesome. And I love that dog.
I was going to ask you, am I a good dog?
You're a good dog, Dan.
I'm a good dog.
I didn't bring treats. I left them downstairs. I'm dog sitting here. Hold on. She's in my lap. Wait till you see this.
What do you got going
I have company here today. Look at this little cutie pie. She's 2 pounds. Look at that.
I might do a different voice for him. Is it him or her?
It's her. Her name is Rose.
What's her name?
Rose.
Rose?
Yes.
Hi, Rose.
She's so sweet. Yeah, that was such a cool dog. I like that. I would love to do a cartoon one day. That would be fun.
It was fun. And in this case, I didn't really get to see the video, but they might have shown me a clip. And then, so I know what the character looks like. And all it is me just making sure my voice was in the lower register. And so like before I would record that script, I go, I may talk on my own, like, hey, you know what? I'm a dog. And you just better get adjusted to that. And then go and read the script. You know, you get yourself in the zone in the character.
Sure.
Yeah, I forgot about those.
Yeah, that's so cool. Did they send you the video first so you can get an idea of the dog?
A lot of times they do.
Nice.
A lot of times I'll get a video that's unproduced, but they'll throw a music track on it and I'll see the look of it, which gives you, a good direction and pulls you into what they're trying to accomplish.
Right.
And sometimes they'll have somebody do a read on it, like someone in the office, so you can hear the timing of it, and sometimes they send you nothing. So in this particular one, I gotta be honest, they may have sent me a clip. I don't remember because it was a couple of years ago.
Okay.
But, then I did another one for that company and I had to find another dog voice for a smaller dog.
Oh,
I simply tightened up my throat and became a smaller dog.
That's so fun.
You want to do that you just tighten up your throat and get uncomfortable.
Right.
So that was some fun stuff. Yeah.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Gosh, that was a season ticket sales promo. And they give me all kinds of different things to do. And please play football. Guys, come on.
Yeah, right?
I know.
We definitely want the sports to come back and not with paper cutouts in the audience, so hopefully we'll get back to normal soon.
I was looking at a Phillies game because I'm from Philly, and it's the first baseball game I've looked at in this new era of whatever. And they have the cutouts, so the views from the pitcher and you see the cutouts, and they had like cartoons and they had celebrities. They had all kinds of stupid things. It was so funny looking at
it. It is funny. I mean, obviously it's sad to not have the humans there and have their, have them cheering them on and have that live energy. But I have to give them credit. That was a very creative approach to coming back to the season. So
how about Jen, if you're a stand-up comic or you have a TV show and you're doing your monologue and there's no feedback?
Yeah, that would be rough.
A couple of them, and I was shocked at how good they were.
Wow.
That they had the focus.
Right.
Of putting, it's like being an actor.
Yeah, you're right.
There's stuff going around you. There's cameras, there's lights, there's people in the back, you're not in a real situation and you're talking directly to the camera. It's one of those shots.
Right.
You zone out. Everything zones out. If you think about your own acting career,
sure.
Part with the scene partner, you're only conscious of them. So maybe these comics or late night show hosts or the ones that are doing monologues can pull it off because they are focused on some imaginary scene partner they got working.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Dan, I wanted to share a picture with the audience of what you call a typical home studio.
Yeah.
They saw your great studio, they saw mine. So this is in somebody's closet.
Yeah,
whose closet is that? Do you know?
Yeah, I know who it is.
Okay. That's pretty creative.
I embarrass her enough when I show this in every single class. But when you're building a home studio, a closet's not a bad place to try. And what you do is you try to find a room or a place in your house that offers you the best quality, the least amount of noise and reverb echo and stuff like that. So, clothes closets, they have clothing, and clothing has irregularly shaped soft material that absorbs and disperses sound so you don't get the echo. And she added a couple pieces of bed foam. You go to Walmart and you buy a piece of bed foam for $13.
Right.
And you hang one, put one in front of you, maybe hang one over your head, and you got some pillows. And I got to tell you, the work that Ashley is doing in that room and the sound quality, you'd never know it was in someone's closet.
Oh, that's impressive.
She can do sound good enough to be on national television.
Oh, that's amazing.
And she's done some pretty cool jobs there. And she's prolific, and she's booking gigs, and that's where she's booking them from. And this goes to no barrier. You can do it.
That's right.
Way less expensive to do voice acting than regular acting by far.
Right. Well, that's good to know. My first job took place in a closet too. I was so shocked. I had never thought about it. And the client actually mailed me a recording device. And then I got on the phone with the director. They said, just get into a closet with a lot of clothes.
Wow.
And use the device we sent you. And it was so easy. I was just blown away. But I like that bed foam, Patty. That's a good idea because I bought the acoustic panels and it took me forever to piece the whole thing together.
And they're expensive too.
Yeah,
so bed foam's great. You don't. I got a secret for you, Jenny. You don't have to put them together. You can have them irregularly. I'm so proud I can say that word. Spaced, in different places and different, not a real pattern, but just kind of thrown up there.
Right.
And even if you go into a professional recording studio, sometimes you're going to notice that they don't have all that much sound absorption material, but they have spots of it here and there.
Right. I did that in my first closet, but my first closet, I had like a nice big closet, so I had to space them out. But this new one is kind of like a phone booth shape. And I had so many acoustic panels left over from the previous studio that I just made it really tight in here. But that's great to know because I know that's one of the most popular questions is people want to know how to set up a studio at home. And we're going to have a guest speaker on in a couple minutes who's going to ask you about that.
All right.
But I want to ask you what some of the challenges might be for a voiceover actor working from home.
Yeah. A lot. Before I answer that, I just want to say that since you have such a nice big closet, I want to invite all your listeners, if they have some spare clothing and they need some extra storage space. Was that wrong? Okay. Challenges of the home studio. Like I have a recording I play sometimes in our seminars. That's me and a production house in St. Louis doing a session, and the session was for like Anheuser-Busch. So it was like big stuff, right? And it wasn't a commercial, but it was an industrial film type thing. So, but it was still Anheuser-Busch. So I'm talking to him and we're counting down. He likes to count me down. I've been working with him for 7 years. And all of a sudden, our dog starts barking. And the dog is nuts. So he goes he says, "Is that a dog I hear in the background?" And I say, "It sure is, Jimmy. You got a problem with my dog?" That's because I've worked with him for a number of years. You don't talk to clients that way. Then my daughter pops in and says, "Hey, good night. Goodbye, Dad. I'm going to school now. Bye. Love you. Goodbye." And all kinds of stuff. I started and the dog started barking again. Look, here's the deal.
Funny.
Right now, I have windows behind me, and they're treated gas-filled windows that block out some sound, but not all of the sound. So sometimes you're going to be in an uncomfortable position if there's noise. The thing is, the clients are totally used to the modern environment of people working in their home studios, and it saves them money too, right?
Sure.
Because they're not going out and hiring a studio. So they save the money. They know you're in your home studio. And I think
so they're more patient, forgiving.
Jenny, one time I had to actually run out the door and flag down my neighbor, next door neighbor, and say, "Can you give me a half hour with the lawn mowing nonsense?"
Oh, yes.
Stop mowing your lawn, please. I'm doing a commercial. And I just, so, there are challenges, but the thing is, there's an acceptance to it. I've 300 of my last gigs, literally, I've not been in anyone else's studio. So,
wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. So basically,
very cool.
There are challenges. The challenge is you're at home, right?
Yes.
And you have visitors in your home and someone knocks on the door and they don't know you're.
Yeah. I have a teenager that lives next door, and I don't know, his parents must go out every day between 12:30 and 1 o'clock because he is blasting the music so loud in the neighborhood that I can still hear it in my office. So I know that I can't set up any recordings between 12:30 and 1 on those days. And so he's been good lately, but sometimes it's pretty challenging. So Dan, I'm sorry.
Well, I was going to say, to be totally transparent about the home experience. Still, sometimes if I have a session coming up the following day, I wake up, I'm listening. Is there anything going on? We had a hailstorm and everyone's roof is getting replaced.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm still kind of aware of it, but I've been doing this 10 years and I had one client one time saying, "Is that a lawnmower?" And of course I said,
ouch. Yeah. Let's just add it to the soundtrack. It's natural, right?
So I interrupted your question.
What's your favorite project you've ever done?
That is really tough because that's what's your favorite ice cream?
I know.
I'd rather answer that. Okay. So I got Haagen-Dazs chocolate, coffee, chocolate chip, and
Ooh, that's good.
Stock, okay.
That's good. I like that. I like butter pecan too.
There you are. So we're talking here with Jenny about ice cream. The ice
cream. Right.
I've had different like the dog project was one of my favorites. The Bills is one of my favorites, but one that just sometimes you get fortunate where something just strikes a chord. And I got to do the voice of a World War II chaplain reading his eulogy, the exact words.
Oh, wow.
And he delivered a eulogy after we took over Iwo Jima in the Second World War. And it was used to open a new wing of the National World War II Museum in New Orleans. And it was pure acting. It had nothing to do with having a good voice. It had nothing to do with announcing. I was that guy for like 2 minutes, and the way they produced it and the footage they put on it, oh my God, it was heart-wrenching. And they showed it during the opening, and I wasn't there, but a woman who owned a production house who also worked with the National World War II Museum looked at it and said, "Who is that guy? I want that guy." And
Absolutely.
She hired me for a number of jobs. So if you go there, I have documentaries about D-Day, about the first bombing.
Oh, how interesting!
World War II stuff. So yeah, that's
great to have such historical pieces.
Yeah, and I did a national parks commercial supporting veterans that I was also very proud of. The St. Louis Police Association, which you saw a little clip of a documentary on those guys earlier in your show. If you're doing some good out there in the world, you have a reason to be proud of it. That's good work to do.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing all that great information. We're going to cut to a commercial break, and then we're going to come back with a guest who has some questions for you. Stay tuned.
At Taco John's, you can expect one thing. So good. As in quality ingredients. Used in tacos and burritos made just for you. Every single bite.
So good.
Expect nothing less at Taco John's.
Welcome back. So we have a guest coming on the show right now. She's been sitting in the backstage. Let's welcome Pollyanna Dorough, who is a singer.
Hi, Pollyanna.
Oh, we can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Unmute. I think she's muted.
Aha.
Oh.
She looks tense. Can you hear her?
Yeah. We need a voiceover, Dan.
I'm Pollyanna.
Unmute. Can you hear us?
Got it.
Got it. Yay. We were starting to do voiceovers for you.
Entertainment.
Oh my God, Dan, I must tell you, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you bring me back to my childhood. Do you know why?
No.
You sound like Casey Kasem.
Oh, that is true.
Casey Kasem, American Top 40.
Yes.
Casey Kasem.
I
don't think I do, but thank you. I was privileged to have dinner with him at a radio convention, and yeah, he was one of the greats back in the day.
You're so right. I used to listen to him too as a teenager.
You did? You're too young.
I did. I was an old soul though. I was listening to 50s music like at 10 years old. It was so, my friends would come over and say, your grandma must have been listening to the radio. And I'm like, don't change the channel. I have the antenna set up to get the 50s music.
Cool.
Yes.
So Pollyanna, you have some great questions for Dan today.
Yes.
I know that you're a successful singer, songwriter, but you want to get into voiceovers. So now's your chance. Here's Dan.
Thank you. I've always wanted to get into voiceover because my head is filled with so many characters. First of all, I wanted to know what kind of investment, like equipment, do I need to start my voiceover career?
It's amazingly light investment. You can get a good microphone for $250, $260, a pair of studio quality professional headsets for $100. You're in for maybe $400 to $500. You can be set up to audition and have the sound that is such high quality, it can go in a national TV commercial for that kind of money. That's why there's no barrier to entry. There's nothing to prevent. You say you're a singer.
Yes, I am.
Wow. So you're used to using your instrument. You're used to mic technique. Yeah. You're used to telling a story.
Yes. I actually read children's stories with all kinds of voices and even the terrible ones.
Oh, that was you. Oh.
I love doing different voices, character voices. I love it.
And as you can see, she's so good at them. And I'm her bouncing board. So I get to meet all her characters before they go on YouTube.
So is that primarily, Pollyanna, the kind of voiceover you want to get into, character work?
Not necessarily. I do have an album that I sang and is out there in the internet right now. So I'm a singer. I even teach voice lessons. So it really, it's not as if I can't do a sexy, very sexy voice.
Uh-oh.
Hi.
Okay, we're all getting hot in here.
You have a lot of range for your voice. Yeah. So you can do that open throat, close, personal, intimate stuff, which is, by the way, half the food commercials, creamy, delicious vanilla ice cream. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
And you could do the mother, you could do the teacher, the executive. There's a lot of characters that you could portray. You've already shown that, plus the completely phantasmical, evil, and, strange characters from the world of animation.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, I do see you as the perfect kind of person to get in it, because a lot of the people that I teach, and we have a voiceover seminar run by myself and Lauren O'Quinn of Class Act Studios, a wonderful acting studio and voiceover studio. We really primarily have been dealing with people that have some kind of entertainment experience. They're Disney performers, they're film, TV actors, they're vocalists. like yourself, storytellers of all different kinds. But
we've got a collage photo. Can we bring that up?
Say that?
You can keep talking, Dan, but we've got a photo to reference of your classes online and in person.
That's Lauren. That's Lauren O'Quinn. And then there's a Zoom class because we're doing Zoom now. And Lauren O'Quinn, my partner, is the owner-operator of Class X Studios. She is a very well-known actor. She's done national films. She's done hundreds of television spots and also hundreds of voiceover spots. She's really a great teacher. So to have a partner like that, it's insane because we work together and sometimes we do a little frick and frack and have a little, we go at it because there are different ways to view something. And that's of great value to get a couple different viewpoints. We've been doing this since 2013. You know, we're in our 8th year together, working together.
Yeah,
So,
Lauren's great. I have to tell you, Lauren and I think it was the first time I met her in person because I had seen her, for years. But the first time I met her in person, we actually did an audition together where I was giving birth and she was like my sister or something, helping me give birth. Talk about a first time introduction to someone. So, hey, Lauren, thanks for helping me give birth.
yeah, and she played an emergency nurse in the TV show Nashville. So
there you go. So I had the right person.
You have to be a midwife or whatever. I don't know. But anyway, being a vocalist, Pollyanna, what I would recommend specifically is, and I don't want to be too self-serving here, but I met Lauren years ago taking her classes. I've studied pretty extensively with her. And then she ran several years ago, like 9 years ago, a voiceover seminar. And I said, hey, can I come? I can be, I can lend some insight because I'm a working voice actor. And she said, yeah, come on board. And then I said, we got to go to lunch. So we met at Panera in Lake Mary, had a nice lunch. And my pitch to her was, let's do this together. Let's build it even bigger and even better and put together something that gives a student an absolute specific roadmap, step by step of exactly what to do to get into voiceover, to get to the starting line, which we describe as you're in front of a microphone reading either an audition for a paid project or you're recording a paid project. We get people to that point, and we call it real world voiceover because it's the real stuff. And I've seen so many seminars and classes and teachings that are kind of pie in the sky, and they don't have what I feel is a realistic outlook on what your needs are right now. And Lauren and I are committed to your needs right now to get it done efficiently and expensively. And then if you start making money, you can reinvest and build your business in certain ways. But the Zoom seminar is 4 hours long and you get every single thing you need to know to get started. And it's fun. And in one way, I don't know which I like better. I miss reaching out and being in front of a person live. I miss that part of our lives. I need a hug.
Send you a virtual hug.
Right? Hugs. But the Zoom thing, we're getting used to that Zoom thing and the classes have been great. And, I can't predict how you would do, Pollyanna, but having met you very briefly, I am going to say that you have chops, you have potential, and they're really, I think with the smallest amount of guidance, I think you can score gigs and make money and make this a part-time thing, a full-time thing. Just don't make it a side hustle.
A side hustle.
Make it
with that in mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. You were saying something.
It's yours.
Okay. I'm sorry. Interrupt. I always interrupt. I'm so bad about that. I'm
okay.
So sorry.
We're talkers in this business, so it's okay.
Being that I have so many different character voices, or like, what type of reel do I need? I mean, should I put a script together with all my different voices and, interacting maybe together? Or what?
You need two reels. The first reel that you need actually is a commercial reel. Why is that? Because that's what everyone wants to hear. And it kind of makes sense because within a commercial reel, you can have all different kinds of performances. You can have something that's really personal, You can have something that's, you know, you're sexily teasing your husband, or you could be a stern school teacher, or you could throw in a character or two. And most producers, there's so many different kinds of demos, but they're always going to ask for the commercial demo first. Send me that. But for you, if you have these character voices, then you'd probably do well to invest in a character demo. And it's a process doing a character demo, because none of these clients are going to ask, did you really do that performance? If you did a Coca-Cola commercial in your commercial reel, or a snippet of a Coca-Cola commercial, no one's going to say, did you really do that spot? They don't care. They just want to know how you sound. And they want to get left with this impression. I like her. That's all you're looking for, is to get that impression. So basically, a character demo is going to entail a lot of production, because you do want it to sound good. But one of our students has a character. Well, she has a dialect demo where she does like 10 or 20 different dialects.
Wow.
I can do that too.
That's intense.
And you know what? You can do it without extensive production. We have connections to get demos produced cheaper and better than what you're going to find out there in the internet.
Oh, that's good to know.
There are good quality producers out there. So, you know, if you go out and find a demo for $1,000 to $3,000, I'll get it to you for $400.
Nice.
By our,
good.
By our team.
Hey, yeah. And you know what? With all my different character voices, how would I go about getting into like a Disney movie, a Disney project, with all my different animations?
Just move to Los Angeles and become an actor for 10 or 20 years. It's
easy.
Gosh. So here's
no thanks.
Should I get a job here locally at Disney World or something? I don't.
Well, some of our voice actors are the voices of characters in queues while you're getting on rides, and you know, some are just PA announcers saying, you know, please stand social distancing, please. Thank you for being here. Please wear your mask in line. Things like that. But there are so many of Disney Pixar. I did one Disney Pixar trailer, all right, for the Good Dinosaur. It was amazing to do. It turned out they only used it internal. They used without voice when they went.
Okay.
TV. But I got paid well, and I enjoyed doing it. But there are hundreds of other opportunities to get different kinds of character gigs for productions that are like video games and things like that.
Oh,
and
we have electronic arts right here in our backyard.
Yes, we do. And Victoria, who I talked about earlier in the show, this is crazy. So things happen, right? I had Victoria over. We're just noodling around. I mean, she's like my daughter kind of now, you know, and we're really, really good friends. And she was noodling around here with something. Maybe we were doing a demo, and I get a call from a guy named Rob from Electronic Arts. And he says, Dan, listen, I don't have a project for you, but I am looking for a female voice for Tetris Blitz, which is the most popular free download video game in the world at the time. And he says, do you know anyone who sounds like this? And he plays me the thing. And honest to God, the voice he had that he needs to replace with a similar voice sounds exactly like Victoria, who's sitting next to me, right?
Oh, what a coincidence.
I said, yeah, I'll have a demo to you in 3 minutes.
Oh,
and
wow.
Had to record something, 3, 2, 1 Tetris, and we sent it to him, and he hired her on the spot.
Wow. By the way, that's one of my favorite games, Tetris. It's just, oh my gosh, I love that game. And I feel like I like sometimes live in a game of Tetris, you know, trying to time manage. But we're running out of time because we can just talk all day with just so much great information. But I know Pollyanna had one more question. And this is a really important question.
Yes. With this information that you've given me, I just want to know, do I need like an agent or someone to help find this work that you're talking about?
Nope. You don't need an agent. You don't want an agent. And I got to be honest with you, they don't want you, because agents and they don't want me until I know what I'm doing. Agents hire people who can book stuff. So they want to hire somebody with a lot of experience. When you book your first 50 commercials or voiceover projects or character projects, then maybe you look for a voiceover agent. There are great theatrical agents in our town. I'm represented by a wonderful, wonderful agency. But the truth is they don't get a ton of voiceover opportunities. voiceover specialty agents do, but you're up against some huge talent there. And some of the projects they get, all the agents in the country. There are many reasons not to go with an agent. Don't even think about it.
Wow.
But you work with us, and we'll show you how to get auditions immediately.
Yeah.
There you go. Dan has the secrets. So if you want more information on how Dan can help you get started in your voiceover business, this goes for obviously us and you, Pollyanna, and all of the audience that's watching. The website is right there on the screen. They can visit voiceoversbydan.com or voiceovercoachdan.com for more information and to sign up for his amazing classes, which I definitely recommend. So thank you so much, Dan and Pollyanna, for being our guest visitor today. I appreciate you both so much. And this has been so much fun.
Thank you.
Thank you. If you want to hang out backstage, I can come back there in a couple seconds.
All right. See you soon.
Okay. Bye. Bye-bye. Thank you, everyone, for watching Entertainment Buzz. That was Dan Wachs and Pollyanna Dorough on the show today. Oh my gosh, we've gotten so much information. What great information. So I hope this was inspiring to all of you out there who are looking to start a voiceover business. It's so much fun. So don't forget to check out Dan Wachs at his website. And of course, follow Entertainment Buzz through the Florida National News Network on Facebook, on YouTube. Subscribe to us, follow us, and of course, follow me on Instagram at Jenny Rosario08. The 8 is for, I wore my necklace today, for infinity. And you can also follow me on YouTube, which is just Jenny Rosario. And before we go, I want to thank again our sponsor of the day, which is the Tea Room Experience, located in downtown Orlando. They're on East Church Street. They allow you to make reservations for the weekend. You can order takeout, and it's such a unique experience, which brings you back to what I call an old world, an English tradition. It's so charming. It's a great family experience. If you have little kids, I would take them there, and you can teach them table manners too. It's so amazing. And if you love tea, oh my gosh, you have a million teas to choose from. It's a rare find. So I do encourage you to visit the Tea Room Experience in downtown Orlando. And that's one of my hobbies. Every time I go to a new city, I just seek out the local tea room. And we're just so fortunate to have one right here in downtown Orlando. So again, before we go, I want to thank you for watching our show. We'll be right back here next Friday at 1 p.m. And we have another great actor. He's also a voiceover actor. So he does film and television. He also does voiceover acting. And I had the pleasure of working with him on set last week on the film Call Time. His name is Tyrone Magnus. And here's the flyer for next week. Oh, there's the flyer for the movie I did. That was such a great experience. That was directed by Derek Hammond and executive produced by James Hunter. Great crew. So actually, we're going to post the flyer of Tyrone Magnus at the bottom of this link after the show. Okay, so stay tuned. Thank you, everyone. And I know there was one more thing I wanted to say. Happy birthday, Myrna Noble Haddad. She is my best friend since I was a little girl, and today is her birthday. Happy birthday. I love you. And hello, if you want to advertise on Entertainment Buzz, send us an email at ads@floridanationalnews.com. You can become a sponsor or we'll air your commercials just like you've seen on the show. So have a blessed weekend, everyone. Thank you for watching. I'm Jenny Rosario de Castellano.